I'm going to have to stay in a yurt at some point, maybe during this centennial trek, just because I like saying the word yurt.
Yurt. Is it like Yertle the turtle?
It is not. Oh, but we did see a turtle. Welcome to the Brighton State Recreation Area.
Brighton State Recreation Area can seem a little bit overwhelming when you first get here. There are multiple entrances into the park from all varying directions, kind of just depending on where you're headed into the state recreation area, whether that's to the campground, to the mountain bike trails, to the day use area, or wherever. There's multiple different dirt roads that kind of lead you here. So you may find yourself in the park before you even realize you're in the park.
Well, that's what we did. I mean, we followed Google and I said, take me to Brighton State Recreation Area, which it usually does a pretty good job. But all of a sudden we're on this crazy back dirt road and I'm like, well, this can't be right. But then it says, you have arrived. And we weren't anywhere that we could tell other than we were near the recreation area based on the green stuff on the map, right? So,
and I did start seeing signs for trails, so I knew we were close at least.
Yeah, like trail crossings and things. So we knew we had to be in the area. So we're kind of tooling down this dirt road, and then there's this little brown sign that says Brighton Recreation Area this way. So we took that way and kind of found our way here to this lake, which is this day use area that we're at.
Yes, this day use area. Should I consult the map? Because we've already forgotten where we're at.
To see which lake we're at.
Bishop Lake.
Bishop Lake.
We're at the Bishop Lake Day Use Area.
So we're at the Bishop Lake Day Use Area. And this is a big one. There's several different lakes here. This is a big one. It's got Jump Island, which is something they're starting now at the state parks. The vendors, it seems like. It's a huge water fort kind of thing.
Yeah, it's essentially one of those bounce houses that you can rent or you see at amusement parks, but it's for the water instead of land. Yeah,
it looks like it's a little bit pricey, but it looks like it could be a lot of fun too. So, yeah, I don't know, maybe something to splurge on occasionally. But that's here, and then there's the beach and a day use area with picnic tables and grills.
Yeah, volleyball and canoe rental and fishing pier. A lot going on in this day use area.
There is a lot at this one. Right now we're walking through. We found the organizational campground, so Boy Scouts and other such groups will come out and use this. And it was kind of funny because at first we thought we were walking up to the Rustic Campground, and we got out here and I'm like, well, no one's rustic camping out here anymore. It turns out it's an organization campground and no organizations are using it right now. But there is a rustic campground here.
There's actually two.
Two rustic campgrounds, and there's one or two modern campgrounds. One modern campground, two rustic campgrounds, the organization campground.
A partridge in a pear tree.
Partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, an equestrian campground.
There's an equestrian campground. There are hiking trails, biking trails, equestrian trails, all kinds of trails.
Yeah. There's a lot. This park actually is really huge. It is a big place for mountain biking. And with everything from a 2-mile trail to a 7-mile trail, from beginner level to intermediate to difficult. So depending on your advanced ability with mountain biking or just your ability and wanting to try it, it looks like there's something for everybody with a few sort of extensions and cuts in between. So you can, I guess you probably wouldn't have to go the entire 7 miles. You might be able to cut through on some of them, but.
Yeah, because it was like 2 miles for some, 7 miles, and there were a lot of little like 1 and 2 mile extensions. So it all. There's a lot going on here, in other words. Yeah. So it could be a fun time to, spend a day, spend a few days. I mean, there's camping available. So a lot to check out. Again, it's a little overwhelming when you first get here. It's one of those parks where you open up the map. And it's like,
I don't know if you can see the map.
Holy cow.
Oh, look.
There's a lot there.
I feel like this is like Holly. We ended up with the same situation in Holly where we were driving down the dirt road and all of a sudden we were here. So these recreation areas in the southeastern part of Michigan tend to be like that. Just because of the way the land was configured, the way it was purchased over the years, put in place with the state park. So you kind of find that that's the case. It's tucked in amongst a metropolitan area. I think that's what's going to happen.
Right. We double checked, and Bishop Lake is the only one that seems to have a beach area. The other couple of lakes that are here are more for boating and fishing. Also fun, just you're not going to lay out on the sand.
Probably not. You could lay on your boat, I suppose.
You could lay on your boat. Might be even better. I don't know.
We also discovered that in addition to the rustic campground, the modern campground, the organizational campground, and the equestrian campground, there are also a number, I think 4 or 5 rustic cabins, as well as a yurt. So those are always fun. Those are a little bit different experiences if you're,
Those
looking for
are,
something,
and
yeah.
we haven't been to the yurt, but according to the map, it's off by itself. So it's not like you're going to find that in a campground, just so people know.
No, you have to get to it on a separate road, but
But that means
a
you're
little
also
more private experience.
You're also off by yourself in your very own yurt, which I like to say because it's fun.
I don't want to go to a yurt.
It's fun to say.
Let's ditch the cat. Let's ditch the RV and go to a yurt.
I'm gonna have to stay in a yurt at some point, maybe during this centennial trek, just because I like saying the word yurt.
Yurt. Is it like Yertle the turtle?
It is not. Oh, but we did see a turtle. But
we did see a turtle.
A new state park experience for you because you're always looking for wildlife.
Yes, we finally saw a snake on this trip. Except it was squished dead in the road, which was really sad. But we saw a turtle.
We did see a turtle. He was alive.
Or she, we don't know.
I couldn't tell. And I wasn't getting close enough to ask. Yeah, so we saw a turtle. And you finally saw a snake, technically.
Snake. Very flat snake.
Very flat snake.
Wow. This was one of the craziest campgrounds I think we have seen yet. It was absolutely packed. So many people, so many cars. They always say that there's a limit of 2 cars per campsite and anything else or visitors are supposed to park in the overflow. But there were just so many cars every which way, so many kids, so many tents, so many dogs. Definitely go super, super slow. There were kids running everywhere on bikes, on foot, on scooters, not at all paying attention to where they were going, just cutting out in the middle of the road. So you'll definitely want to be careful when you're going through here. It did seem to be that there were a couple big parties going on, some family reunions, and different groups getting together. So there were a lot of people parking in the visitors lot and then walking into the campground for these events. So something else to keep in mind, there's just a lot going on. But the sites themselves are packed together and kind of crazy. We weren't even going to get out to look to see how things were going on because there was no place to see and just so many people. We don't want to invade anybody's privacy, but it's definitely a busy park. So for sure, if you're coming to this one, this is one where you'll want to get your reservations in early. Probably you're not going to get anything on the day over the weekend of, but yeah, I mean, it's a decent park, modern bathrooms and campsites. And all in all, I think it's a nice campground. It's just definitely not our style of campground. We wouldn't be coming here. It's just way too many people for us. But if you're in this area and you want to get together with a group of friends, this would be the place to do it.
One of the cooler things we've seen here at Brighton State Recreation Area are these new hammock stands that they have. There's some in the campground. There's several in the different day use areas. There's several different lakes here at the recreation area, and they seem to be putting, 2 or 3 of these up near each lake. It's a really cool idea. It helps to save the trees, so people aren't trying to connect their hammocks to trees. And sometimes you find a really nice spot for a hammock, and you only have like one tree, and you don't have anywhere to hook it to. So this is nice. You're in an area in particular right here where it's by a lake. It's kind of peaceful. There's not really any trees to hang your hammock on, but now you have the stands provided by the state park. So if there is one thing I have learned about Brighton State Recreation Area is you never know what's around the next corner. This place is huge, and there's a lot of roads to drive on, both in the campground and the day use areas. But you're
paved and
unpaved,
and less than unpaved conditions.
And you're in the state recreation area the whole time because it is a large area. So we've discovered, in addition to other things we've talked about, there's also a disc golf course here. There's an archery range. There's numerous lakes.
Quite a few boat launches and fishing piers.
There's kind of the main 3 lakes, but then there's also smaller ponds that you can get to. I mean, there's a lot to do here. It's kind of cool. But like I said, I think earlier, it's a little overwhelming. And you kind of got to get your bearings, and then you can figure out what you want to do while you're here.
Yeah. I think this is one, if you were to come here often enough, if this is one of your favorite parks, you know what was going on. You know where you want to go. You'd probably just choose the one activity that you wanted to go to. But as a new person to this park, you definitely need to, the first thing you need to do is find a map, first and foremost, so that you can figure out which road you need to go down.
I think sometimes when we kind of come in for the day and we're trying to get it all in one day, it's a lot to take in, but definitely a lot of opportunities and a lot of possibilities for things to do.
Right. And as we saw, a lot of people here today, a lot of people at the beach, but we headed over to one of the smaller lakes to check that out. And there was a couple fishing, and they were specifically there because there were no kids around. It was just nice and peaceful. They weren't catching anything, but that wasn't the point. It was just to kind of get away. So A little bit of everything for everybody, depending on your needs and your wants and activity interests.
I would say it's definitely one to check out if you're in Southern Michigan.
So keep on trekking.
And we'll see you out there. It's been a long day.
Oh.
So if there is...
Would you like me to finish yawning before you start?
Can I start now?